So starting Monday, so we're doing a PTSD, basically big podcast deal with some of the charities, the Barbarians group, and myself and one other group. I can ask Christina what the name of her charity is. Anyway, we're breaking PTSD in veterans and first responders. We're walking through the whole process, the metabolic piece, and then we're going to use some ketamine. And then throughout the process, we're going to run down to Peru. We're going to do some ayahuasca. And we're going to do all sorts of fun stuff. So it's going to be kind of a journey type of thing. It's going to be really, really fun. And the thing I need everybody to remember is that just because you're not a veteran, just because you weren't in combat, just because you're not a first responder having to deal with all the unbelievably horrible things our first responders have to deal with, you have PTSD too. The vast majority of people have PTSD. When we went through COVID, that was definitely a traumatic experience. What you have to understand about PTSD, we've talked about this a lot, is that PTSD happens because we have trauma that we weren't 100% ready to deal with at the time that we got it. So remember, the biggest thing to remember about trauma, psychological trauma, is that it's not the trauma you received, it's the trauma you perceived. So if you were super worried about your family dying and your friends dying and the world ending and all that stuff during COVID, which a lot of people were, people don't want to admit it, but they were, people were worried about how, one of the things that is obviously there, that how tyrannical our government will become at the drop of a hat, and how horribly tyrannical the world governments have decided to become, is also terrifying. Things like that. Things like watching the news every single day. It's funny to me. People are like, I'm so stressed out. Quit watching the news. Quit looking on Facebook and quit looking at Instagram and seeing horrible, terrible things are going on in Africa that you have no control over. None. Like, let it go. Like, let somebody else deal with that. Don't take that in. Don't let that trauma come in. But a lot of these guys, these first responders and these veterans, they chose, because they're great people, to put themselves between the evil, the horrible, the terrible, the darkness, the crazy, the trauma, and us. And so they sit between that and us. And this is why I like to work with these guys, because I want to encourage that type of sacrifice, that kind of commitment, that kind of dedication to your fellow man. And so it's more of a philosophy than it is an individual, but that's kind of where things are. So what we're doing is we're going to go through the metabolic process that breaks down, that rebuilds the body, so we take return to baseline so their bodies can function. We talk about this a lot, that your metabolic function and your psychological emotional function are literally paired. And the easiest way to describe this is to look at anybody who's ever been hangry, right? So people didn't eat, and then, they got pissy and grouchy and bitchy and, just horrible people. And then you fed them and they got better. So what ends up happening is that their metabolic needs were not met. So their psychological emotional needs collapsed. And then we restored their metabolic needs, and their psychological emotional needs came back to normal, back to baseline. And so that's kind of what we're going to do. So we're going to reset their metabolic function. We're going to pull the toxins out. We're going to restore the nutrient levels. And that helps out quite a bit. And so once we do that, we can get everything kind of back to normal. Then we're going to go through with neuro-linguistic programming, and we're going to kind of work with, explaining how the filters of their world work and how the trauma they've received can be let go. And we'll get with their unconscious mind, their subconscious function, to purge a lot of those negative emotions and allow themselves to heal and come out of it. And then once they kind of understand all that world, we're going to go through ketamine, which helps reset the sympathetic parasympathetic function of the nervous system, because everybody who's in PTSD is what we call sympathetic escape. Now we're going to go over all this stuff. We're going to explain all of it. I'm going to walk everybody through it. That'll be on the Barbarians channel. We'll have to see if it'll be on my YouTube channel. YouTube has banned me multiple times for saying things that the CDC disagrees with. So if you disagree with the medical system, people like Google will censor you and not allow that information to get out. When I went through how to fix COVID, it destroyed my social media. When I went through how to fix diabetes, I went through a whole big thing about how to fix diabetes and how to fix dementia. YouTube told me if I ever said it again, they'd delete my entire account. So that's why that's not there. But these guys have a lot of really cool friends. And so I'm hoping that I can start getting some of this information out through their channels. So watch this process. It's going to be fantastic. We start filming Monday. We'll be doing some, behind the scenes stuff as we go along. And then these guys will put it out. We'll put it out. We're looking for sponsors and partners to help. I'm looking for people to just get it out. They need money to continue this process and get everything kind of going. So we'll go to all the people that we know to get more funding in to help these guys. As they start getting better, it's gonna be pretty cool. We're gonna do a lot of different weird things. My guess is that most of the things that I do are gonna be different than you've ever seen. They're gonna be interesting things as we go through and we explain it all. Again, I don't know what's gonna make it off the cutting room floor because I'm not in charge of that. The guys they've done lots and lots of work in the YouTube world. These guys, one of the guys has worked with Mr. Beast for a long time, so they know some people and they know how to put together a really good YouTube channel. So once all that stuff's out, we know where everything is, I will make sure to pass that along. But follow us on all this stuff. These are things that it's cool because we get to help a lot of people. But what I want, my big thing is that I want everybody to understand how the body works. That's physiology over pharmacology. And that if we understand the power that made the body heals the body, and we understand how to return to baseline, and we understand that we've been lied to for the past, 50, 60 years on how the body actually works so that people can keep you sick, keep you unhealthy, and keep selling you pharmaceuticals. That's my goal. So I think it's gonna be fun. There's gonna be lots and lots of questions and lots of things. Like some of these guys are unbelievable. Like they're the tip of the spear. One of the guys, and we'll go through this a lot more. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but like everybody knows, oh, the Navy SEALs are awesome and the Green Berets are awesome, and they are. I'm not saying they're not, but they've got guys who have to be trained in each one of the special forces groups so that they can be dropped into any of the deltas, any of them, and they can help lead and coordinate function within them because that's how they all work together. And so some of these guys have been like, oh, I went through SEAL training and I went through Green Beret training and I went through, Army Ranger training. And they're just like, oh my God, like you've done all of it. And they're like, oh yeah. And then you start talking about some of the things they've seen, some of the things they've done, and it's bonkers. So we're going to do some fireside chat stuff. It's going to be really fun. Like I'm super excited about being able to help these guys. I'm excited about kind of walking through some of this stuff, at least explaining to people where they're at, how things are. Some of the stuff we can fix, because metabolic function, it's pretty easy. Like diabetes is super easy to fix, because it's just a chemical reaction and your body just does it. So we can do some of that stuff, but some of this stuff's in the head, some of it's in the mind. And so we've got to go in and work with NLP, and we got to work with, the tools we have. And it's funny because as we go through, we'll be able to talk a little bit of difference between cannabis. We'll talk about psilocybin. We're going to talk about ayahuasca. We're going to talk about ibogaine. So if you guys are into plant medicine or you've never heard of plant medicine, you guys are going to love this. If you like health at all, we're going to go through hormone function, peptide function. We're going to go through all the biochemistry of the body. We're going to go through neurologic function. We're going to go through psychological function. The cool thing about PTSD is the similar is not like dementia, is because I get to use all the tools that we put together to help kind of reset this stuff. And this is going to be important for all of you because, like I said, as you start going through some of this stuff, it's going to be really cool because like a lot of this stuff, when we go through it and I explain it to people, they're like, that's so obvious, but I've never thought of it before, or no one's ever said it like that before. And I'm like, yeah. And they're just like, oh my gosh, like I understand things so much better now. And it's really kind of interesting. So it'll be fun. You guys ask questions, do whatever. We will do lives. We'll do all sorts of things. We'll answer questions and stuff like that. But it's going to be pretty cool. So I'll make sure to post out some of these guys, to follow them and that type of thing. We're going to start Monday. It should be pretty cool. So we will go through that. And then whenever you guys have questions at chalmerswellness.com. If you guys are looking for some of the products, our website should be up again on Monday, ready for this new process. If you need anything, grab it there. We've got all the protocols and everything else there. So if you guys have any questions, ask. All right. You guys have a fantastic day. Look forward to next week. Talk to you guys soon.